Welcome back to the channel. Now, cast your mind back to 2018. Aston Martin gave us an all-new Vantage, and it was completely different to the one that went before it. It was more modern, it was more youthful, and thanks to an AMG-sourced V8, it was really, really thuggish. It was much more like Hardman Vinnie Jones than James Bond. And now there's a yellow convertible version next to me. We should probably find out if it's any good. First things first, it feels quite big when you get in the V8 Vantage Roadster. It feels wide, much wider than a Porsche 911 would, but you know, we'll see how it feels on the road. Let's start it up. The seat moves to improve my paunch. Press the D button for driving, I think. Throttle response is sharp. I've got it in sport mode, which is basically the normal mode. First question, is it fast? 60 mile an hour limit, second gear. Yep. It is outrageously fast. I know 510 horsepower from that V8 doesn't sound a huge amount on paper, but it's the torque that carries you up the road like you've been punched in the back. It feels monstrous, and it'll go on to 190 miles an hour, 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, which is only a tiny bit slower than the hardtop. And that's because they've only added 60 kilos of weight to this in turning it into a convertible. But yeah, initial impressions are, it's very loud. Yeah, it's still got that wonderful, supple feeling that the hardtop V8 Vantage has. It flows with the road and doesn't crash you about. It feels like it's designed for the road rather than a sports car that's been designed to chase lap times, which is a good thing. Only downside is I'm slowing to a 30 limit and there's a dog, and I don't want to scare the dog, which is quite hard in this. When you're in Sport Plus mode, it barks and crackles. Not the dog, the car. It's incredibly loud. Steering is, well, it's not bad. It's got the same kind of feeling that DBX had. Direct, if a little bit lacking in feel, but you know, again, name a modern car that hasn't gone down that road. It's very easy, it's very accurate, blah, blah, blah. The main thing is I'm not getting jiggled about. When I was driving this quickly earlier on some kind of big bumps, you did kind of sense suspension slightly, I don't know, having to deal with a lot of weight. It's not that heavy, but you felt the kind of body control was a bit slower than you would want, but it's good fun to drive. I'm not going to be skidding it about because I can't, and I'm on the public road, and that sort of thing is frowned upon, quite rightly. But as an open top sports car for bumpy British roads, it does a remarkably good job. Oh dear, that engine, I'm not sure that noise would ever get boring, that V8 roar and the crack on every upshift, downshift, and frankly, whenever you let off the throttle, I'll put it into Sport Plus mode now using the button on the steering wheel, and you'll get even more noise. I like this. It feels as if Aston knows, you know, it's not going to compete with a 911 on a track. But it doesn't have to. They've just made it an engaging road car. And with the roof down and that V8 noise pouring in, I would have this over the hardtop. Coming out of tight corners in third gear, it just hauls you out. It's fantastic. And also, when you're accelerating hard halfway through the rev range, you just get that wonderful rumbly V8 noise. Wow. Yeah, really impressed by just how much it works as a road car. I'm not being jiggled about. It's not annoying. It's got all the things that you would want in a convertible Aston Martin. Noise, drama, decent enough handling, and a decent ride. Not sure I expected all of that. I expected a slightly firmer ride and it to feel less friendly, to be honest. It feels very friendly. I said friendly. In Sport Plus mode, it'll let you have a little bit of fun before it tidies up the back end for you. Beware cows? I've never seen a beware cows sign. Oh yeah, I see what they mean. Downsides to the driving? Well, the cabin's quite noisy. Above 70, well, at 70, you get this quite high-pitched wind noise. And being tall, I'm 6'3", my head is a little bit in the breeze. My seat's as low as it will go. So yeah, seat could go a bit lower and then I'd be fine. And you wouldn't really want to have the roof down on the motorway. Look, so that's 65 miles an hour. And it's, yeah, that would get a little bit annoying after a while. It's just the blusteriness of it. Got a wind deflector in the back, but it's, you know, it's not as refined as the cabin of a 911 cab. But when you're below 60 miles an hour on a twisty country road, it's heaven. Really, really good fun. It's worth talking briefly about the brakes. The brake pedal feels a little bit soft at the top, but in a kind of confidence-inspiring way. They're not super sharp, so when you get to a corner quickly, it feels very natural to lean on them in the corner. I actually quite like that. Lots of modern sports cars, like an Audi R8, you tap the pedal and you're sent into the windscreen. Makes it really hard to do the amount of braking that you want. This, you just kind of gel with it. I'm impressed, and it's not just because it's a sunny day and I'm in a yellow convertible Aston Martin. I hope you can hear me. Anyway, back to you, Tim. Some cars just work better as convertibles, whether it's in the way they drive or the way they look. And to my eyes, this really, really works as a convertible. Yeah, the hardtop is gorgeous, at least in side profile. I think this just is more harmonious though. They've only added 60 kilos by taking the roof off, and they've softened some of the structural bits inside to make it more supple and less jarry and scuttle shaky on the road and just more pliant. I think it looks magnificent. This down here, that's not standard. That's come from the inside of a cow's stomach, and I accidentally ran it over earlier, the mess, not the cow. No animals were harmed in the making of this, well, apart from the cows that died for the leather seats. They're not alive anymore. But they are very nice and slightly blue. Blue cows. Perhaps the most controversial thing of the new Vantage's design was this bit. It looked nothing like the old car, so most of Aston's established, let's say, slightly older customer base, yeah, they didn't really think it looked like an Aston Martin, but you can now spec the Vantage with a traditional horizontally slatted grille, but if you're young, hip and dope and know what's good for you, you'll just stick with this. Things progress, things move on. You should be a progressive movie-on-y person, not some stuck in the mud. Otherwise, we'd all still be tooling around in Spitfires and Lancaster bombers. This, Eurofighter Typhoon. I think this is one of the best angles on the car. I just love the way the lights swoop up and round, and they're matched by this carbon fiber rear bumper and diffuser. Sadly, this is a US spec car, and you Americans like to crash apparently, or you've just got ridiculously over-the-top crash regulations. So we've got these ugly things here, and the sat-nav doesn't work in England. But anyway, minor points. Looks magnificent at the back. The roof is the fastest operating convertible roof that's not manual in the world. Apparently it will go up and down in about 7 seconds, under 31 miles an hour. I'll show you that now actually. It's so quick! Can't believe I'm doing this, but someone's bound to ask about the boot space. Don't know if you can see that. but it's not very big. It's probably big enough for a couple of soft bags, and it'll be big enough for 2 people's luggage for a week or 2 if you pack sparingly. But yeah, you don't buy a car like this for luggage space, but it's got some. It's not got loads. You're not going to do an IKEA trip in it unless you're an absolute baller, meat baller. The owner's manual looks lovely. It's a soft back fabric covered number with colour pictures. Probably available in Braille. Actually, you shouldn't be having a car owner's manual in Braille, should you? Anyway, enough shit. The interior of the Vantage Roadster is much the same as the Vantages, with the exception of the roof. Currently not a roof, and the switch control roof is on the driver's door, so your passenger can't operate it. But hey, not sure that's really necessary. In terms of feel and how it makes you feel in here, it does make you feel good. It smells of rich leather. Aston does leather really well. Steering wheel, seats, all beautiful, really comfy seats as well. It's just a bit, it feels high quality. It just doesn't feel all that stylish. I can't talk about style. Clearly, I'm a bald man in a black t-shirt. But yeah, it just, I don't know, it doesn't feel harmonious. I don't know, I've used that word too many times in this review. And the entertainment screen just feels like you could take it away as a tablet. It just is left there. This is a lot. There's a lot of buttons, and when you first get in it, it's a bit intimidating. And obviously the gear selector buttons are here as well. Yeah, it's a bit higgledy-piggledy. It's fine. Everything works. Everything is, you know, feels good quality. It's just not as orderly as a Porsche 911 or Audi R8's interior. But yeah, it's fine. It's genuinely fine. What I would say is the seats don't go low enough, and my head sticks out a bit when I'm going along with the roof down, but only a teeny bit. And there's no glove box, I don't think. No, there's no glove box either. If the interior was a computer application, it would be Photoshop. Does everything you need it to. There's probably lots of hidden functions, but nothing's particularly obvious initially. How's that for an analogy? Right, I've gone on enough about this. It's probably time for a conclusion. Some cars are just better as convertibles, and the new Aston Martin Vantage joins those ranks. The car's always been more of a road car than something you're going to go out and take on track seeking tenths of a lap time. And it's just a joy to drive on the road. The ride is fine, it's pliant, the engine is perfectly suited to surfing out of corners in 3rd gear, making the best noise in motoring, and it's ridiculously quick as well. So yeah, you're probably looking at something like a 911 Turbo or an Audi R8 V10, and do you know what? I would probably have one of these over both those cars. Certainly the Audi R8 convertible was too small inside for me, and that V10 is so muted by emissions regulations these days that it's just not really worth the hassle. The 911 is beautifully made, beautiful to drive, but doesn't feel anywhere near as special as this in the engine department. Day-to-day driving on the road package for normal people, this is great. It's just happy at 9/10, and it makes me smile every time I put my foot down in it. So yeah, well done Aston, you've made a brilliant convertible. Thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe, please check out all my other videos, and I'll see you next time in something a bit less yellow and a bit less covered in cow shit.